previous council.
And just to add to that, you mentioned an outside voice and credibility to look into this.
I think that it's been clear, and I said this in my comments, that everybody's credibility was on the line during the course of this conversation, certainly tonight about this project. Our staff there were a lot of finger pointing about our staff. There was finger pointing amongst councillors. George Rustay certainly has received some criticism about his work. I believe the Ombudsman has a huge track record of investigations, complicated ones, that I feel some confidence that he would be able to come in and give the public and this council confidence that he's gone into and delved into these issues that I've raised.
Sorry, I've just got one more question. Regarding specifically the Southwest Quadrant process, so your motion, as you see it, your resolution, which passed unanimously, I understand?
Yes.
Yeah, it won't preclude the Ombud from dealing with what happened throughout the Southwest Quadrant process.
I'm not directing the Ombudsman, nor would I suggest that we direct his work. He'll come in and look at our processes, and I've offered some suggestions as to where he should start.
Right, because in the resolution the word misconduct is used. And
alleged.
Right, alleged misconduct. And to my understanding, at least publicly, the only issues surrounding procurement and, quote, alleged misconduct that really is being dealt with right now in the city is the Southwest Quadrant issue.
I don't want to preclude any investigations that the Ombudsman might do about practices in the city of Brampton.
Okay.
Councillor Spoviera was talking to me earlier. He was talking about the possibility of getting a police investigation. Do you think that level is necessary, or could it come to that?
I'm not going to speculate as to where this is going to go. My goal here tonight was to try and bring things to a head, to make a decision, to ask the province to step in. We'll see where those investigations take us, and I think that it's time. As I said earlier, this council and this city hall and our staff have been really paralyzed with FOIs and reports. Those freedom of informations are very time-consuming. Not that they're not important, but I've been here 5 months. This is my second Auditor General report, and it's really hard to get on with business when there are so many questions around this project.
Sorry, I do have one more. You haven't really weighed in specifically on your thoughts, your take on the report. We've heard what everyone else said.
I think you heard in my comments this evening.
So, like, for example, comments about it being a whitewash, comments about Mr. Rustay being in an obvious conflict of interest. I worked for the firm at the time.
I think it's irresponsible for me to step in and characterize this investigation that way. My job is to provide some leadership. I tried to do that today. And I didn't want to rush to judgment. We only got the report last week. I read it a couple of times, tried to absorb it. I'm not a lawyer, and the majority of people around this table aren't either. We have to rely on the advice that we get, and our job is to represent our constituents to the best of our ability. That was my job.
Okay, one follow-up to that. Mr. Rustay stated that in March, when he and Councillor Spovieri had an exchange about his potential conflict, he said this today in public. He said, I told Mr. Spovieri regarding his possible work on the deal at the time when his firm, Weirfolds, was working on it back in around 2010. He said, I told Councillor Spovieri in March, quote, I don't remember. So if he said that in March and he was hired in September, isn't the obvious question, why'd you take the job?
I'm asking Mr. Rustay?
No,
or me?
For you.
Oh. I'm not going to speculate about what council did or didn't do. I've been in the job 5 months. This issue probably started its infancy about 10 years ago. The former council made the decision about 5 years ago to go to the RFP process. A lot of in-camera information came out, and there's a lot of information I heard tonight that was almost new to me. I've heard some of it before. I think there's a lot of information that each person came to a different perspective on based on their conversations with staff. My goal is to provide some leadership and move forward. That was always my goal, and I'm hoping that we've provided that today.
Last question, folks.
Have you already spoken with the Ombudsman's office? Do you know if Andre Marin will get involved? Have you had any conversations with him about that?
I have not had direct conversations, but I did speak with him a few months ago and asked him if he would come to Brampton. He said it was unprecedented for a mayor to invite him into his city, and I believe that he has expressed publicly his interest in coming to Brampton, and he's welcome anytime.
When will you hear an answer if he is going to investigate?
I have no idea. So tonight we put out the motion, and it'll come out through the public, and certainly we will be in touch as soon as we possibly can and get back to you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Mayor Jeffrey, just one thing. I got a response from the Ontario Ombudsman.
Did you?